everybody. This is episode 3 of The Journey. I'm excited to be here with Dr. Kurt Lang this week and get a little bit of his background and kind of what led him into what he's doing today. I'm not going to give it all up. I'm going to let him go through and explain it for us. So, Kurt, thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me,
Well,
Steven.
I guess thanks for letting me
Yep.
come out to your place. It's a really nice facility you have here, and thanks for showing me around a little bit before we got a chance to film this. So why don't we just jump right into it and get started, just talking a little bit about your background and kind of what led you to where you are today.
Okay, great. Well, Sparta boy, grew up in Sparta, Michigan, come from a big family, so does my wife Kelly. So coming back to Grand Rapids that played a big role in that. We have family that own farms, and friends of mine and their parents have businesses. So growing up, I always knew I wanted some of that freedom to make those decisions and get to that point. It wasn't until I was in undergrad, though, that I was going to another chiropractor, and I said, well, I want to have a big clinic, and I want to have all these different disciplines, a multidisciplinary clinic, and this huge place, and all this big dreams. And he said, well, you know, solo practice is fun too. And that's when it all started. And I said, I can run a business and do it, make the decisions, but it's a great model to have and be able to take care of people and make the choices I want to do that. So now owner and operator of Vibrant Life Chiropractic and loving every minute of it. We're 12 weeks in, so we're
awesome.
Growing every single week.
Cool. Now, 12 weeks in, what are some of the things that you've run into over those 12 weeks that you're just kind of like, wow, that's not something I expected, or that's a little bit different? I know by your smile you got some stories, and I know we talked about some of them already. So.
Oh yeah, well, we see all different types of patients for different things. We've had people crawling in here in pain. We've had people crying because they've lost loved ones, they've lost jobs. We've had kids on the autism spectrum. We have kids that kick the walls in, ruin our brand new paint.
Yeah,
but it's
and
great.
You put the
I
blood,
love
sweat,
it.
and tears into it.
Yep, I love it. I remember before we even opened, and it looked beautiful. It was just pristine, state of the art. Everything looked great, and I was already saying it before we opened the doors. And I said, I want so many people in here and so many kids. It should look like somebody's house that has kids, because that's how we want them to feel. We want them to feel comfortable when they come in, and that they can bring their kids here, and it's a welcoming, open environment where the kids can walk and play and move, and that way when we're taking care of mom and dad or grandma and grandpa, the kids can still color and play with games and hopefully be off some of their technology and just unwind for a few minutes.
Neat. And what kind of got you that business model and excited about bringing that type of atmosphere to a chiropractic office?
Real good, yeah. So I went to Palmer College of Chiropractic out in Davenport, Iowa. In my 3rd week at school, a few doctors, there was 4 chiropractors that came and spoke. They're part of a program, Advanced Mentorship for Entrepreneurial Development. It's called AMPT, and they came and talked about opening your own clinic right out of school. And at the time I had thought about it, but I didn't really know how to do it.
Okay. And
some of them they have the fastest growing, the biggest pediatric population in the state, all these different things, just blowing it out of the water right from the gate. So I wanted to do that, and they basically taught me how to do that. So I followed them around, worked in their offices, asked them questions, and that's what we reproduced. We basically did the same model that they have and just created our own
version of it.
Yep.
Neat. Yeah, a lot of people don't get that opportunity to be able to shadow and learn from someone that's doing something similar, and then you can kind of pick what you like and what you don't like, and and what wall colors you like, and what and go from there.
Yeah.
Perfect. So let's take a step back and just kind of, I'm walking through the door in the morning. I'm Kurt, Dr. Kurt. What do I do? And walk me through like a full day of your job.
Yeah. So even before you get here, it's getting up, having 1 cup of coffee, reading some books, praying. My wife and I spend a lot of time doing that kind of stuff, so getting the day started. Once we get here, we check make sure everything's working, turned on, and then we have a team meeting. So we have 1 other full-time team member and also my wife. So we figure out what our goals are for the day, what we want to hit, what we want to do and accomplish, and also do things like read quotes. We have videos. So a mentor of ours, he's a motivational speaker, Ronnie Doss.
Awesome.
He's amazing. Y'all should get his podcast. And so Ronnie, he speaks to NASA and all these big groups, but he has really spoken to our lives in many different ways. So getting all that set up, and then once we open the doors at 10 o'clock, that's the earliest we open. We usually have people coming in at that point, and once things are rolling and I can get in my adjusting zone, then that's when it gets exciting and people start, oh, my headaches, I haven't had one since I started care, and we're giving high fives and giving them stuff to share with the people they care about, because nobody wants to feel miserable.
Right. Awesome. So what are some of the struggles that you run into throughout the day?
Struggles throughout the day, dealing with the finances part, with people's cost. We try to make it as simple as possible, but we're always trying to help people through all that, figure out how we can do that, make it work for them. Things with the actual building and space, just like anybody else that has a building and space. 1,700 square feet's not small. It's not big, but it's also not small. So we have the same issues. We'll get weird bugs crawling around, so we have to kill some bugs.
Yep.
Electrical issues, music, just dealing with little things like that. We really haven't had any issues with our team and our team members. They're amazing, excellent. So we strive for progress, not perfection, but as long as we're getting better every day, I'm okay with that.
Cool.
And we deal with one thing at a time as well. So
neat.
Yeah.
So if someone wanted to come in and start a similar type business, what are some things that you would say would be an essential skill to have and an essential background that's kind of led you to be able to be successful in that area?
Ability to communicate.
Okay.
So I don't think you have to be able to sell, but you need to be able to educate and provide people with information to make an informed decision whether they want to come work with you or work with somebody else. We always do our best to give people the latest research and information, be very upfront and transparent with our clients, because that's how we would want to be treated. And we even we have some family and friends that come to us as well. So everybody's taken care of the same in that regard, but if you can't communicate the message, it doesn't matter what profession or field you work in, you got to be able to know what you're talking about. So education's huge. Luckily, I had more than enough of that. So many years of that, but they don't always teach you how to communicate the scientific language to day-to-day language. So that was huge, and that was something I was fortunate enough to learn from the other doctors.
Okay.
How do we take all these big long words and put it into something that people can understand and go out and tell other people, because they can't do that if they're not given the right tools.
Completely understand that point. The same realm with perception engineering, we run into people that are just the smartest in the industry and know designs backwards and forwards, but that they couldn't explain it to anyone. So very interesting, cool. And I think it's fairly obvious as far as to why you're doing what you're doing, but talk to me a little bit about your passion and what drives you to do this business.
Yeah, it's amazing stuff. It's my own personal testimony. I had a sports injury in high school. So at the age of 14, I had digestive issues. They thought I had brain cancer. I got CTs, had ulcers in my stomach, was on tons of meds. Grades go down, you lose your friends, you get really upset and down, and that's when I went to the chiropractor, got results right away, totally changed my life, and that's when I realized I didn't really know at the time I wanted to do chiropractic, but I wanted to be able to help people naturally, and that's when I started looking into it, opening my mind to it. I didn't really even know what a doctor was of any kind. I couldn't have told you when I was 14, but it really opened my eyes to there's ways you can help people and provide a natural option. So that's what started all of it.
Interesting, very cool. Now you're 12 weeks in. Obviously you've had days that are awesome, other days that are not so awesome. I know, talk to other entrepreneurs and that's the story you hear. There's ups and downs of business. On those days that you have down days, what are some of the things that keep you motivated and excited?
I think the biggest part is being able to work with my wife Kelly. So she uplifts me when I'm down, and she has off days too. Our good days far outweigh the bad ones, but there's typically 1 or 2 days in a month that things just don't seem to be falling the right direction and the right way, and usually we're able to help each other out and pick that up. I can't give you anything specifically that I would do on those days. Typically, if it's going that direction, right away we'll have, like if I see her struggling with something, maybe she's upset, have her just take off for a little bit and come back. So we have the freedom to do that. That's really nice, where at some jobs you can't do that.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily get to just walk away if patients are here.
Right.
But if we have a break, typically I'll go take a good hour or something just to leave, get out of the environment, get away, and then we can come back later and talk about it. So.
Okay. You talked a little bit also about motivational podcasts. Are there any books? You said you read every morning, you do prayer, and you do motivational podcasts. Mm-hmm. You mentioned one person's name. Do you got any other ones that you'd recommend?
The podcasts, I recently have just been listening to his. We also have the Amped program. They have one for chiropractic. So just like the books, I typically am reading something chiropractic because there's a lot of books on that, philosophy, science, and art of chiropractic. Something self-development wise. So right now I'm finishing up How to Win Friends, Influence People, big time classic.
Yep.
But also, I like the little books. I've read a lot of the thick books on self-development, and it's great reflection tools. But I think Who Moved My Cheese, the Rhinoceros Success, those short reads that you can do in half hour to 2 hours.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that instant you can remember.
Half hour, 2 hours for you. Maybe 2 weeks for me.
So going through those books, I think, have been the biggest tools as far as they basically take what the other big books talk about, put it into a short version. And I think when you're opening your own business, that's kind of where you want to put yourself.
Yep.
You can grow and develop and get bigger books over time. There's a new one I'm about to start, but just came out in January. But it's a self-development book, and I'm excited to start that one.
Neat. Yeah, and there's so many opportunities out there if you kind of reach out as far as books and podcasts and even YouTube channels to start doing that research. But then at the same time, you kind of have to just see what other people are doing and just say, okay, but this is kind of the way I want to do it, and this is how I can apply it to my specific whatever industry you're in or position that you're in. Mm-hmm. Really cool. Now, last question. Maybe. We'll see. Any tips for someone that's looking at starting their own business, looking at starting out? This maybe is the first video that they've seen, and that kind of sparked that interest in their mind, this really is something I've been thinking about for the last few years. I just need to do it.
Well, we had 2 chiropractic student, husband and wife, that stopped by. Just met them today. Stopped by, and they were just looking to meet us. But Kelly and I ended up spending quite a bit of time with them and sharing our journey and how we got here, and they're looking to do the same thing. So I think step 1 is putting yourself out there and shaking some hands. We always say if you're not shaking hands and kissing babies, you're not getting very far. So you gotta be able to put yourself out there and go meet the people that have done it before you. Stand on the shoulders of giants. Don't try to do it all on your own, and learn as much as you can from them. If you can get a business structure or model specific to what you want to do, because within each field there's also different little categories and niches that you can tap into. And once you decide what your business model is, you get your business model down. Ours is a family wellness practice. Once you get that, then you can look at the procedural details and break up how's the day-to-day going to look, how does it look for our vision long term, what are our goals going to be. So I think figuring those out first is a good step on how to do it.
Awesome.
Once you get that mindset right.
Yeah. So looking towards the future, what are some things that you're excited about?
I would say to keep growing.
Yeah.
We want to hire another team member by the end of the summer, so I think there will be a demand for us to have 3 full-time team members up front, and then I'll be adjusting. And the big goal is to have a second doctor in the office, so someone that could specialize in kids or pregnant moms, sports, maybe bring something new to the office and reach other populations of people that could benefit from our services.
Awesome, Kurt. Well, I love it. It's really cool to just hear your story and about how you got to where you are today, and some ideas that you have of where your future is going to go. And interested to keep in touch with you and see that process and how it goes. So,
thank you.
So thanks again.
Thanks,
and it was nice having you. And thanks for inviting me out to your office.
Anytime.
One more quick thing before I turn this off.
Yeah.
If people are looking at getting a hold of you, what's the best route of doing that?
They can shoot me an email.
Okay.
So Dr. Kurt at vibrantlifegr.com. So DRKURT at vibrantlifegr.com. And you can also call the office, but I'm usually not at the front desk. So if you wanted to, 616-855-2017, but I check my emails often. So.
Yeah, and I'll put all that information in the links below. And then also I'll link up, I know they posted a great video of their ribbon cutting ceremony here and kind of a tour of the office.
Blast.
So I'm going to link that video up here too. So click on that and make sure you check more out about Kurt and what we got going on here at the Vibrant Life office. So thanks again.
Thanks everybody.
Yep.
Appreciate it.